Hello everyone and welcome to a new season of URL-GT1 Racing from UnitedRacersLeague.com. This season, as always, will have 10 rounds, and the first round of the season, as a first, will be split between a qualifying race and a feature race, which means we will now first have a 30-minute qualifying session, followed by a 30-minute race, and then afterwards a 2-hour feature race. So qualifying went like this. Mikko Korkiakoski took the pole in the Pro class with a 153.7, and Sando Donadel took the pole in the AM class in the 157.9. Both drivers will lock in their qualifying positions for the feature race. The rest of the grid will be determined by the finishing positions of the drivers after this 30-minute race around Suzuka. So very important. Also some points for grabs, 5 points for the leader, for the winner of this race in both classes. So a very important race to get a good start to the season. Here are the highlights of the qualifying race. Here's everyone on the grid, and as you can see, it is raining. It's quite wet here at Suzuka, and we have a jump starter. I think it's Sando Donadel. People getting off the line and not getting off the line, so a bit of chaos coming off the starting grid, but Mikko Korkiakoski holds his lead, and Peter Abelovsky has to go up the inside of his teammate to keep his second position. Behind that it's Manuel Liguori, just behind Florian Kutz, Mihovil Markovic, Tony Ukic, Peter Bakos, Ethan Bass, Stemikel Olsen, and so on and so on. So 21 drivers on the grid today for this qualifying race. It will be only 30 minutes, but in these conditions that will be a very, very tough race. There's Rob Timpen in P19, and Mikko going a little bit wide here on cold tires and cold brakes. That's a very normal thing to do. Both Mercedes teammates, and here Tony Ukic and Peter Bakos in the Panos for this season. And Miguel trying to go around the outside of Stemikel Olsen, but now actually almost losing the position to his teammate Alex Scott. He gets on the power early, but causes Alex a bit of problems to keep the car under control in these conditions. So let's see how this race develops here behind. Oh, Mihovil Markovic is off the track. He will be able to rejoin in P14. Sando Donadel in P16. Rob Timpen in P18. Then Bjarne Christensen and Matthias Christensen has not started the race. Here's Mikko Korkiakoski making an end to his first lap. Manuel Liguori made it up to P3, but he will go wide here in the treacherous conditions, understeer in the last corner, and he will lose quite some positions. We see Stemikel Olsen battling with Ethan Bass here. Felix Boucher rounding up the top 10. And the whole field streaming past. Sando Donadel taking the penalty for his jump start, as we saw in the beginning of the race. Here's Peter Bakos behind his teammate Tony Ukic. Tony goes a bit wide, as we can see here, and Peter takes the position, can stay and take advantage as well. He seems to be a bit too far off to be able to threaten these two Panos guys. Mikko Korkiakoski, as I said, followed by Peter Abelovsky. Robert Horvat in P3 still, so very strong team result already for Robert Horvat and Peter Abelovsky, but Robert loses his car in the wet and loses 2 or maybe even 3 positions. That will be tough for Stemikel Olsen to get past. Robert makes his car as wide as possible, and it's a very, very wide car, and he stays in front for P5. Mihovil Markovic here, slicing through the field after he's off in the first lap. He's now behind, I think it's Miguel Santiago Caral. Might be Alex Scott as well. This is Alex Scott on his outside, and he goes for the inside. This is a very brave move. Having confidence in the car, not to understeer into your opponent. So very nice move by Mihovil to take P8. Here's Miguel Santiago Carao, and he makes a mistake in one of the opening laps. And we see Rob Timpen, leader in the AM class, coming through, followed by Chris Simpton in P2 in the AM Cup. Then it's Andrei Golubnici, he's in Pro now this season, also making a mistake at the chicane. And then we have Sando Donadel rounding up the top 3. So starting from pole in the AM Cup, but serving a penalty. He's now in P3. Here's Evgeny Leonov passing Alex Scott. Got a bit untidy there on the exit of the first turn, and he loses the position to another Ferrari 550, both on different tires. So it's nice to see. Here's Mihovil taking advantage of a mistake from Felix Boucher, and Felix gets on the track. In the middle of the track, Alex Scott has to swerve wide, and Michal Klisch takes advantage of this to pass Alex Scott. So an unfortunate rejoin there by Felix Boucher, it seems. There's someone on the outside here of the hairpin as well. Robert Horvat was following Sten Mikkel Olsen, and here's Mihovil Markovic getting onto the power a bit too early, and here's Michal Klisch. He will try to get through around the outside here. That's very, very tricky, but it seems he has the job done. Yes, indeed. He will show his nose on the inside, but he won't pass him again. Here's Alex Scott battling with Mihovil Markovic as well, and Mihovil getting onto the power a little bit too early and understeering off the track. And that's the end of this 30-minute qualifying race. Here's Mikko Korkiakowski, and we see Robert Horvat lapped, making a small mistake going into the wall there, but Mikko Korkiakowski will take a dominant win here at the Suzuka qualifying race, and he has his pole position locked in for next week. Peter Abelovsky will finish in second, around 8 seconds behind Mikko. Tony Ukic, our champion from last season, will finish in P3, which is not bad at all, of course. Sten Mikkel Olsen in P4, so strong team points for LNL Racing. Felix Boucher taking P5, a very strong drive by him. Then Michal Klisch in P6. Mihovil Markovic made it up to P7 after some fierce battles. Alex Scott finished in P8 in this qualifying race. Then Rob Timpen takes the win in the AM Cup, so takes 5 points, but he will not start from pole. That will be Sando Donadel, and Andrei Golubnici rounds up the top 10 of this race. Robert Horvat, as we saw, lapped. Then Miguel Santiago Carao in P12, followed by Sando Donadel, so he will finish in second in the AM Cup in this race. Evgeny Leonov in P14, then Ethan Bass, Mando Liguori, Bjarne Christensen and Matthias Christensen. Here are the results. So this will be effectively the starting grid for the feature race, from which we will see the highlights right now, except Sando Donadel will be starting from pole, so as a first one of the AM drivers. So here it goes for 2 hours of fierce racing here at Suzuka. Again, it's dry this time, and a bit of a better start. Still some chaos here in the back, but in the front we see Peter Abelovsky taking first position from Mikko Korkiakowski. So Mikko not able to keep his pole position. Rob Timpen here in P12. Ethan Bass in P15. And we have to mention that Alex Scott and Miguel Santiago Carao, they changed cars. They will now be driving the Ferrari F40, as you can see here. So Peter Abelovsky is in first, but Nico is not too far back. And everyone keeps it quite clean. There was an incident at the start with Miguel Santiago Carao now in a very last position, but for the rest it was quite clean here. Coming into the hairpin, always tricky on cold brakes, cold tires, but they keep it clean here. The Saleen boys, Michal Klisch and Florian Kutz, they're right behind Andrei Golubnici, and Peter Backus is right behind them. Rob Timpen is in first in the AM class, then Matthias Christensen. Alex Scott is in P14, he's followed by Ethan Bass, and the whole rest of the field, as I said, Miguel in last position. And here's Mikko at the end of lap 1. Will he retake his first position already? Not in 130R, but can he make a move, stick around the outside into the chicane? He sure does his best, but it seems he has to stay behind for now. Coming onto main straight, he's very close, so let's see if he can make a move. But let's first see how the grid is formed when crossing the finish line here. Here we see all the cars streaming past, all 21 of them. And here's Mika Korkiakowski starting the second lap. Peter Abelovsky goes defensive. Mika goes for the outside and keeps it around the outside. There's some good grip there. Now he has the inside for the start of the S's, and he manages to get past Peter Abelovsky. It's a very, very nice pass by Mika Korkiakowski for P1. Here's Sten Mikkel Olsen in P6. It's with Mando Liguori and Mihovil Markovic, they touch, and Sten Mikkel Olsen will capitalize. At least they're in the same car, so they will have approximately the same speed. Can Sten keep it around the outside? No, it seems that Mihovil is running a bit less wing here, and he keeps his car in front. Peter Backus is in the meantime battling with Florian Kutz and Michal Klisch in the Saleens. This will also be a very hard-fought battle between them. Here's Michal Klisch going for the inside in 130R, and he makes the move stick. Both drivers, a lot of respect for each other, and they keep it clean. That could have gone a lot worse. And Florian Kutz trying to get past as well. He forces Peter Backus across the chicane a little bit, but Peter stays in front at the moment. Can Florian make a move into turn 1? It seems he cannot, so he will have to slot in behind. Maybe he can follow through with his teammate later on. Here's Mando Liguori in P13, and he has a very nice battle forming in front of him. That's Greg Metcalf in front, Andrei Golubnici, and Ethan Bass going onto the back straight. And I think Robert Horvat is right behind them as well. It is Ethan Bass completely boxed in. I hope they keep it clean through 130R. They do. Greg Metcalf concedes the position a little bit. And here there is some smoke, there is some touching. As I said, Robert Horvat. Oh, and he hits Mando Liguori around. And that will surely cost them both a couple of positions. Here's Rob Timpen. He's first in the AM Cup. Got in front of Sandro Donadel at the start. Then it's Chris Simpson, Carlos Diaz. Peter Backus, he got a penalty in the opening laps. And Matthias Christensen in P20. Sandro Donadel is in last at the moment. So Mikko Korkiakowski is in first, and he has grown the gap to Peter Abelovsky considerably. Tony Okic is in third. That's his finishing position of last race. Here's Sten Mikkel Olsen with Mihovil Markovic. And here the rest of the top 10. Michal Klisch with Felix Boucher. And if Michal gets a good exit here from the last turn, there might be a pass here to get P9 from Felix Boucher, who had a very strong outing last race. And they touch, they both go wide. Felix goes onto the gravel, but they both get going again, and behind it's the same. Manja de Gori goes a bit wide. Robert Horvat gives him a little nudge. He was difficult to avoid that. And Manja also gets passed by Alex Scott in the Ferrari F40. And then a key point in the race, Mikko Korkiakoski is in front, but as you can see the gap is smaller, is getting smaller. He has a bit of problems with his engine, it seems. As we will see here on the straight, his engine will appear to be losing power, because we will see Peter Abelovsky completely leaving in the dust on the straight. But Mikko and his engine will recover, but he will have to fight to get back into the lead. Here's Robert Horvat with Stein Mikkel Olsen. Robert on the grass, they touch, but they keep it clean, and Stein keeps his 9th position. Let's see what happens next here, going through the chicane. Have to get a good exit to be able to make a pass, and Stein Mikkel Olsen is right behind Peter Bacchus. He goes defensive, so let's see if Stein can make a pass, or if Robert Horvat can maybe take advantage of this small little battle. Oh, Peter Bacchus goes a bit wide. Stein Mikkel Olsen puts his car on the inside, and he completes the pass. I think he will be able to stay in front through the SS. Yes, he can. And Robert Horvat is now very, very close to Peter Bacchus, but he misses his line a little bit through the S's, and that is, as you can see, fatal, and he can't make the pass. Here's Ethan Bass, still battling with Greg Metcalf. This is already past the first pit stop. And Greg making a fantastic move on Alex Scott on the inside at the end of the S's, and he completes the pass. Robert Horvat had a big battle with Peter Bacchus for P7. Small mistake by Peter in the hairpin. So Robert smells his chance to get that position back. They both didn't have a really good start to the race, but they clawed their way back up, and they are now in P7 and P8, and we're almost halfway through the race, so almost 1 hour driven by these drivers. Robert goes for the outside, Peter goes defensive. Let's see who blinks first. Wow, Robert flicks his car in and makes the pass. And here's then the second pit stop of Peter Abelovsky. He was in front of Mikko Korkiakoski, we saw that, but there was a problem with his pit crew, and Mikko Korkiakoski, we see him streaming past. He will gain an advantage of around 10 seconds over Peter Abelovsky, as we see here in second. Ethan Bass didn't pit yet, but he's in P3, so after his pit stop he will have a strong top 10 position. Mihovil Markovic is in P4 after 1 hour and a quarter. Then Stein Mikkel Olsen, Robert Horvat, Peter Bacchus in P8, Greg Metcalf, Michal Klisch, Greg making a comeback to URL again. Alex Scott, Chris Simpson is in first in the AM Cup, but he still has to pit, and not too far behind is Rob Timpen, and he's the effective leader in the AM Cup since the start of this race. It has been very, very close with him and Chris Simpson. And here's the rest of the field. Carlos Diaz, newcomer to URL in P17 and still running. Would be very impressive to see him finish his first 2 hour race in this league. So here's Ethan Bass, as I said, in P3, and he still has to pit, and he's probably struggling with the tires, because when getting on the power here he completely lost the rear, and very well done by him to keep it on the tarmac and get going as fast as possible. But He will lose his third position to Mihovil Markovic. Here's Ethan Bass again going into the last part of the race. And there's the leader, Mikko Korkiakoski. Greg Metcalf led him through, but he lost the position in the meantime, so Greg making a small mistake and losing the position to Ethan Bass. There's Florian Kutz with Mihovil Markovic, so going for a podium position. This is after 2 hours of racing, people, and they're still absolutely side by side. Mihovil seems like he's saving a bit of fuel, but oh, what a very nice execution of 130R. He gets back under Florian Kutz and retakes his P3 going into the last lap, so that will be a very, very close one for Florian Kutz and Mihovil Markovic. But here's Mikko Korkiakoski. As we said, he got his P1 spot back after a small mistake from Peter in the pits, Peter Abelovsky, and he had a consistent drive afterwards, so he will win this first full points race at Suzuka, a 2-hour race, a first in URL history, and he's closely followed by lapped Ethan Bass. Let's hope he doesn't cause any trouble for the leader. Well, it seems he does. He hit him in the back, and fortunately not too much drama here for Mikko Korkiakoski. Luckily he had a healthy lead, and he will take his Lamborghini to the first win of maybe many this season. Let's see if he can retake the crown here at URL-GT1. Peter Backus will take second position, just as in the qualifying race. Mihovil Markovic with a very strong performance in P3, as we saw Florian Kutz right behind him. Robert Horvat in P5, good result for him. With Peter Backus, as I said, they had a not so good start. Ethan Bass in P7, as we saw him lapped. Greg Metcalf in P8, then Michal Klisch, Rob Timpen, Miguel Santiago Carao in P11. And Rob Timpen winning the AM Cup, winning the AM race. Chris Simpson in second in the AM Cup, and Sando Donadel, his teammate, in P3. Matthias Christensen will finish in P15, and this is the rest of the non-finishers. So this is the final result of the 2-hour race at Suzuka. And look at that fastest lap from Mikko Korkiakoski, only less than 1/10 faster than Peter Abelovsky. So it was a very, very hard-fought race, and the gap was only 11 seconds after 1 hour and a quarter of running. That was it for this first round of the URL-GT1 Championship. Next week, for round 2, we'll go to another very tricky and epic track, which is Bathurst in Australia. So stay tuned for the highlights. And if you want to join us, you still can. Just go to unitedracersleague.com, sign up and start racing with us and appear on one of these highlights videos. 32 laps next week, so everyone should start practicing so no one hits the wall and we get as many finishers as today. See you next week, and check out unitedracersleague.com.